Under the Radar is a web radio that unites three people that use their spoken words powerfully. Alex, Céline and Marco are here to see and speak, to see what is being played instantly, honestly, without any complacency for themselves or for the other, to see precisely and to speak freely, to reveal their own power. The first recordings will give you the tonality of the exchanges, right here.
Bonsoir Céline.
Hi Céline. Hi Alex. A subject that we're going to talk about today concerns laughing. Laughing in our experience of a duo. And it's part of the subjects that we wanted to talk about on the microphone. That we also want to see how, or to talk about how we express ourselves, both of us. What comes to mind, Céline, on the exchange of this subject? Well, I'm going to start on me as an individual, is that for many years, laughing was not part of my life, not really, even as a child, even as more as a child, actually. It was part a little bit when I saw a movie, but we can't really say that it was part of my life. And when I started to get integrations and understandings, because they're like liberations of things in matter, of this astral world, the more it happened with confinement in COVID, and I really love these confinements because I'm well. I was able to be in introspection, you have to say, and to have this understanding of this, all of this manipulation, liberated so many things in me. I proceeded with my own liberation also, and I was able to access laughing, not laughing to like evade, but they're true laughing. And in our duo, well, I'm really happy because we have the same laugh, meaning I find, and I talk to you about that, it's really funny how directly how we like a crystalline laugh. It's like we laughed. I haven't laughed as a child, but we're laughing so much today. And it's so fun. It's so... It's the little child that's really laughing, but the child that I couldn't be, so there's no nostalgia or regrets, but there's just a really great joy and fun. And that's what I told you. And this laugh, it's a little bit everywhere. There's no occasion that we don't laugh. We do all kinds of sketches. You always are teasing me on that subject. Yeah. Well, how do you want to testify to this, Alex? Here. Well, Alex says, I'm going to... What you're saying instantaneously is that it's a daily characteristic. It accompanies each and every one of our days, all our pretexts, so that we come out of the subjects, the seriousness of the subjects that we're talking about, even if we talk about subjects that could eventually be heavy the way we talk about them. But there's light, there's all kinds of lightness around this, and an understanding. I'm rebouncing on what you said, the understanding today on the first plane is that it brings us often, even every day, to laugh. There's moments where it's not evident. There's moments where, even with me, I can't leave right away because it like sticks to me. But then I leave and it starts to laugh. I laugh at the situation that concerns me directly, and it makes everything explode. That's all behind the scenes. And it's so characteristic of the human being, all of this, that it distinguishes to the entities that can manipulate us eventually by all the ways they want to.
Des moments en fait où on était plus jeunes.
There's moments when we were young, when, like you say it. I have a common point. Seriousness was there very young. I was qualified of a very serious student. Serious invited it in my life very young. It's like I was always serious actually. My education made that there was all that in behind the scenes also, and the lightness that I see today is like a form of all the seriousness that I had in that could like make the ambience become heavy sometimes. So it's characteristics, it's quality that we have intrinsic. We didn't have to force ourselves to find each other. And I'll continue to precise home because it always accompanied my experiences in my life as an adult, because it permits me to like have a step back. So the laugh that you're talking about to escape is tinted of saying, of cynicism, of sarcasm, of how do I say this? Like, of laughing at of others, or all of that I practiced, but a laugh that I used that laugh to avoid suffering too much. So it was a moment in my life, like an escape, a parade. But today it's not that. It's not that at all. That we can like things that we can like, you know, we never stop like regurgitating and cleaning and, you know. Let's stay a little. We're trying to stay. We always hold like that broom. Sometimes like the same thing in a boat, like when we want to try to go forward. It was progressive with me. There was like this tinted laugh, but now it's limpid. It's really with my heart. It's moments that there's not necessarily like any reason for it or will of, and we laugh a lot of doing like theaters, and we don't do it because in writing it starts with something that's programmed, an agenda that's written, or but for us it's instantaneous. So that's what comes from me. And Céline is saying to rebound on your seriousness as being a child. Well, I wasn't a serious child. It was like the gravity of perceiving all of the ambiences, all of the atmospheres. And if you're speaking of the cursus when I was in school, I was the one that asked the questions to the history, who said this, who said that, who said this, and it's like the teacher, because in primary already that I was asking these questions. Seriousness, no, but I was first year of philosophy. I did the best expose of my life, and the dissertation also is that I really put down everything because how it made me, you know, he was so happy that I was able to argument the way I needed to. So I was more the style of seeing things that already the other ones didn't see like me, but I had this gravity inside of me, so laughing wasn't part of my life at all. But there it is, and in our duo, really it's really in being instantaneous, and there's one that stirs and the other continues, and it's moments that are it's laughing like where it's pure, where there's nothing behind it, like you said just a while ago. It's really this joy as a child somewhere, and it's very, very agreeable. It's very, very fun, pleasing. I know that yes, in a duo, if there's one that's in in fun and the other isn't, well, evidently there's things that can be complicated to live, but for us it's not like that at all. And I'd like to say that laughing, when we reconnect to that laugh, for me it resonates really on something that's like inherent to the human being, intrinsic, like within the human being. Because it's really, it's his nature also. It's part of his nature, simply. But evidently everything is done so that it's not expressed today. Things that have success today is going to be paradigms, it's going to be satire things, and yeah, we can laugh by seeing a movie, yeah, there's no problem, but that laugh, and even when it's lived in the instantaneously and shared in our duo, it's just, well, it's very particular and very fun. I don't know if I can define the laugh that I'm living with you and that we live together, but it's really the word pureness that comes, purity. It's two kids that are playing with laughing out loud, and that's really pleasing. And Alex is saying, it can't be at the detriment of the other. No, it can't. It can't be to destroy the other, because all of that is submission and domination, and that will infiltrate again a decoloration that comes against the idea that we can be on the same plane. The one that would be more, you know, that could be more like ruse than the other. And that is inaccessible. I'm saying it, I want to say to myself that it's inaccessible to certain forms of entities. They don't know this. And when I hear you tell me that it's pure characteristic to a human being, that's a certitude. And that's a characteristic that the people that are listening to us, and I'm insisting on this because in my own experience, there's changes with this. And in fact, when we take away the idea of teaching the other and that we want to pass things to the other, and we're in this conviction, it's not a laugh that's mocking the other, it's just a laugh that's there that contributes to expose also certain representations and seriousness and complexity. Complexity is incompatible with this laughing. It's very simple. Some days I'm hearing us laugh like great whales. It would be weird because we don't. Usually laughing is tinted. And there's different forms of laughing, but it's just to see that there can be temptations of infiltration in this and manipulate the human being by all the means are good and for the entities. Without any premeditation, there can't be any infiltration. That's what I'm seeing. Céline saying, yes, exactly. We're really in this complicity, compatibility. If we needed to evoke what is this complicity in this duel, laughing is part of this. And I think everyone lived this, that we're laughing like whales or laughing like children. But they're little children that are, there's no trackness, it's pure laughing. Well, it's what we're living. We live like this, really. And the exchanges that we can have with each other are joyous when you say it. When you exchange in an audio, there's things that are happening. It's because we connect with this. Because in the way that we're exchanging, there's simplicity and also lightness that is invited often. It's a way of de-dramatizing. If we've written a text, well, I'm making a link with Pépito Pépitin because it started with our
Et ça, en fait,
drama.
c'est le chapeau.
And that is the hat.
Ce serait l'entête,
If there's a hat, the hat
de qui on est, en fait.
of
Je vois ça comme ça.
who we are. Because when I wrote this drama, it was the perfect illustration of my beginnings of consciousness. That the events, I couldn't live them like dramas anymore. It was no longer possible. But yes, exactly. We are really in. We see, we hear the events. We see the things that can be perturbed or perturbing, like, perturbing agents, So words to just say that how these agents, that astral forces can come and pass through this, but it can't function when there is a quality of transparency. It's, how can I say it, like a laughing that is nude. It's nude and it's not inhabited with or clothed with, and it's not tinted in a way. That's what it is. Alex is saying as well. So Céline just explains that, yeah, we can be in that world and see what's being played, but reconnect with this laughing. And behind all of this is to reconnect with this joy. And yeah, I loved when you shared that, when you explained this. And speaking of kif, like love things, loving things, it's like a source that resources itself. When you said it very often, I take the energy of the other, but no, there's like joy behind all of the other, behind it, even with the subjects that we are talking about, because it's this joy, this consciousness that we could reconnect to this source, and that we resource ourselves, but without, there's nothing, it can't be empty, that source. So it's that joy. And laughing like we do, well, it's like a child, it's like nude. It has no, no intention or no tint. And this quality, Alex says, we can bring it also to the adult that we are without really. It's like not a laugh that's gaga, it's like it contributes to expose the impression of the gravity of the events or subjects that are suffering. And it's really, it's like, it's not premeditated, and it de-dramatizes. We're not going to saying, like when we're speaking of a situation of someone else, we're going to laugh about this. No, there's a moment though where we can laugh at what happened without, mocking someone. And I'm insisting on this because it's not mocking mocking ourselves either on the experience that we had. It's really a laugh that exposes, like the filters that were around, the illusions that were around, or the dramas that was around. And that's really like a tool that's powerful, and it's at the disposition of the human being without learning anything. It's accessible to everyone if we just relax, and it can be invited, and we let go of that tension. And Céline continues by saying, yeah, it's very just when you speak of the entities, that laughing is it's insupportable. It's very unsupportable for them. So I'm going to say, we're going to laugh to have them leave. No, it's in our nature today to reconnect with this. There's no premeditation of laughing. It's done. It's being played and laughed in the moment. But we have that consciousness, though, that when we talk about that subject, what comes is this. When you said a while ago, it's unsupportable for them. It's like it made them like, you know, scream. It can't be supported because it's very, very high in vibration. Look at the state that we're in when we are laughing. We're like so well and inaccessible. It's very, very powerful. Now we say it, we're talking about it and formulating it, but when we're living it, we don't put anything in place, there's no strategy for it, it's lived or lived. But after, we can see that we are in a state, but just like untouchable, an untouchable state. We can't take away that laugh. It's our joy. It really, those entities, you know, it stinks for them and they leave. So seeing this now, we hadn't formulated it in this way before, but we are happy to laugh now. But I knew that subject, I really wanted to talk about it. And you were okay with it. It's cool because it's really part as you as an individual today and me as an individual today, and it's present in our duo. So it was just that little, you know, sharing on Alex and Céline and duo with as they love to laugh. Did you want to add something, Alex? No, it's good for me.
Merci à toi, Céline.
Thank you, Céline. Thank you, Alex.